because we deeply care about people. And I cannot make a generalized comment here to say we as AFGRI deeply care about people. But it's for you as an individual to say you deeply care about people, because the more you care about people, the more you love people, the more AFGRI will become an organization that deeply care about people. I want to introduce you to Zelda. Zelda is our Chief Financial Officer, somebody that I deeply care about. Zelda, thank you for being on here. We give over to you for the rest of this program. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Krista. Hello, everybody. I was just thinking this morning when I started preparing for talking here that, you know, I'm not sure if it's a privilege or a setup, because I quickly scrolled through the participants and there's a lot of men on here. So if I say something, it's not because I want to offend you. It's just we are honoring women. You know, I'll focus on that. So I thought I'll kick off, you know, latching onto what Jacob said, is I did a bit of reading on why are women seen to be great leaders. You know, what make women good leaders? And the first thing is communication. And I initially thought, I always think I have more words than the average people to use every day, but I thought I would go and just look up, you know, is it statistically proven? And apparently it's not. Men and women have the same amount of words on average that they use every day. But there's a Chinese proverb that I will read it to you. It was very funny to me. They say that's where the thought that women talk more than men come from. So it says, the tongue is the sword of a woman, and she never lets it become rusty. So that made me laugh a bit. I think that proves that we do maybe talk a lot, but you know, yeah, there's a lot of things that make women good leaders, but I just picked 4. So the first thing is communication. I really do think we are quite good at that. Because we are not everybody, but in general, women talk easily and we do talk a lot. The other one is also that women are great listeners, and that is linked up with the communication side. So, you know, listening to hear and not listening to respond. Because, you know, I always have to pull myself back in discussions as well, because sometimes we only listen to respond, but we need to listen to hear. You know, what people need, how do we help them, what do they expect from us? So that's important, and they say that's a skill that women have. And then nurturing. Women are natural nurturers, and that leads to us being great mentors, because, you know, you focus on people around you, you take them with you. So as you develop the people around you, and that comes naturally. And the other thing that I actually wanted to say at the beginning is being a leader does not mean you have to have people reporting to you. And sometimes we forget about that, so that we chase, you know, a position or a title so that we can have people reporting to us. We are leaders every day. You know, leaders in promoting the brand of AFGRI, you know, for our children, for the people around us, in a church group, wherever you are, you must always, you know, aim to be a leader. And then, you know, the last one that I just want to highlight is being empathetic. I think we are quite good with that. You know, listening to people, it links up to having good relationships, easily connecting to people. And, you know, those 4 to me work together, making us good leaders, whether it is in a job, at home, you know, wherever you move around. So for me, leadership is, you know, making people around you better people while you are there. And when you leave, you know, they must remember that, and they must have taken something from what you contributed to who they are, what they do, you know, how they progress. And you know, are they better people because of what you changed in their lives? So that's important to me. And I'm not going to talk much more. I think we've taken up a lot of time, and I want to give Anina an opportunity. But yesterday, while I was Googling this whole women thing, I found this quote from Melinda Gates, and she said, a woman with a voice is by definition a strong woman, but the search to find that voice can be remarkably difficult. And Anina, from me, I wanted to say that you are a woman that has found your voice, and you are an inspiration to us, and we're very excited to hear what you want to tell us about your journey from where you started to where you are now. What is important to you and what makes you who you are? So I'm going to hand over to Anina.
You can just unmute, Anina. Thank you.
Okay, I'm unmuted and I'm trying to share a presentation. Can you see it?
Yes, we can. You can just put it in full screen, and that's good.
Okay, in full screen mode there. Okay, here we go. Okay, thank you, Zelda, and thank you, Krista, and thank you to the virtual community for this opportunity. I think Zelda. Noel sê ek moet my skerm uittrek, dit lyk nie reg nie. Sorry, Noel's just interfering me here. Let's see. He says it doesn't look right. Is it better now? Can you see better?
Yes, we can see. I think you still got your notes on the one side, and you would like to, if you can, take the notes off and just have a full screen view, it will be great.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna unshare it and reshare it then. Sorry about that, guys.
No problem. Relax, we're gonna get to it now. Dazai.
Right now. Okay.
Got it. Thanks, Anina.
Maybe I'll just start over. I just wanted to say thank you to Krista and thank you for Zelda for the kind words. And yeah, thank you to the virtual community for really giving me this opportunity just to share a little bit of my journey at AFGRI over the last few years. I've been with AFGRI for 17 years, as you all might have known by now. And the last 7 years, I've been filling the role as Managing Director of the Animal Feeds business. And it's been a very exciting journey for me, and I'm very proud and privileged to have been in this journey for this period of my life. I think the day when I started at AFGRI, I knew what I wanted to achieve. I knew what my dreams were, and I knew what the goals were that I set out for myself. The challenge that you sit with, however, is you always have this little voice on your shoulder, and being a woman in a very male-dominated environment, you always had this voice telling you that you won't be able to reach your dreams, and you will not be able to reach all the goals that you've set for yourself. Today, I think after a long journey with a lot of hard work, I can look back and say, well, I've done it. I've shattered the glass ceilings and I've reached my goals and I made it a reality. My dreams is a reality today. But I have to tell every woman that it's not always easy. It comes with sacrifice. You have to be bold. You've got to be dedicated. You've got to be hardworking. And most of all, I believe that you always have to surround yourself with very strong people. Often when I have ladies visiting AFGRI Animal Feeds, they ask me, what is it like being the managing director of such a large agricultural firm? And I don't think there's a difference for a man or a woman when managing the company. But what I believe, it's always about people. The people are your employees and they are your customers. And people makes the world go round. And we have to focus on the people to be successful. Yes, we have to implement strategies. Yes, we've got to ensure sustainability of the company, and we have to ensure that we have a profitable company for the shareholders and the stakeholders. But we have to always take people along on our journey with us. Sorry, I've got to go through the presentation. I'm just talking. I think AFGRI Animal Feeds is a rather large agricultural business, and it's ironically what Zelda has just said, is that communication is the key. I also believe that communication is the key to successfully executing your strategy. If you go and look at the animal feeds business specifically, we have a staff complement of 908 people. And strategy is only successfully executed throughout the business when it's communicated from the top level right down to the bottom. When everybody, each employee in the company is aligned, we know the direction that we are heading in, and we know what is expected of us and what we have to be accountable for to drive going forward. For this reason, I believe communication is one of the key skills that everybody has to have to be a great leader into the future. We all know that you can have a great strategy, but if the strategy is not executed and implemented, then it will not be a success. I also love the quote of Peter Drucker stating that culture eats strategy for breakfast. Through communication, I do believe that you can change a culture of a company. The better we align with each other, the better we can drive our strategy going forward. Leading in diversity is always quite an interesting topic to be discussed. I do believe that there are a lot of myths going around with women in agriculture. It's often said that it's a male-dominated world, but if we really go and look at successful leaders in agriculture, we will find that around about 43% of agriculture roles are filled by women. And I would like to say to each woman today, it's okay to be different. It's okay to stand out. It's okay to have an opinion. It's okay to ask the questions. There is no such thing as a stupid question. It's okay to stand up against discrimination. And it's okay to be a role model for all the women that will follow in your footsteps going forward. There are a lot of myths, and we always have to try and eliminate these myths out of our lives. And one of the myths are that women cannot have a successful career and also have a thriving family life. I believe this not to be true. I think that women have the ability to multitask. I know this is a word used quite often, but we have the ability to balance our lives. I've seen a lot of successful women leading companies, making changes in the world, and also having a successful family life. I actually want to go back to one slide. Sorry, I think I've skipped over this slide. If I look at this picture, in this photo, it's my grandmother on my left-hand side. She's 93 years old and she's still alive, and my mother on my right. And my sister is standing behind my mother. In this photo, we're 4 generations. Of these 4 generations, 3 of these generations have worked or are still working in agriculture. My grandmother used to work for a company called FETSAC, now known as AFGRI. My mother's a veterinarian scientist, so she's worked in agriculture her whole life. My sister runs the table egg division of Alza Eggs, and I'm currently working at AFGRI Animal Feeds. So in all of these ladies on the picture is currently finding a career in agriculture. I think I've been very fortunate to have been surrounded with so many women that have been passionate about their careers, that have been driven to make a success, and have had a lot of integrity and commitment in their lives to drive forward. I had to ask myself, what would I do differently? And if I think back, and if I could turn back time, I do believe that there are a few things that we have to focus on. And if I could tell my younger self, I think that I would have been slightly more successful or reached my success slightly quicker if I focused on some of these aspects. One of the beliefs that I live by is that you are only as strong as the weakest link. This is a very controversial subject. Sometimes the link can be strengthened, and sometimes the link has to be taken out in order to move forward. But it's very important that we define our roles and our responsibilities in a company and for people that we surround ourselves with. We need to make sure that people take accountability. We have to get people that are dedicated. We need to know that we can delegate. We don't have to do everything ourselves. We have to make sure that the people are aligned with the strategy that we're going to drive going forward. I also believe that whenever you start on a task, you've always got to start with the end goal in mind. Focus on the greater good. Make sure that you drive to the greater good, not only for yourself, but for everybody that is surrounded by you. And then lastly, just to end off with, I believe in growth and development. Somebody said to me the other day, you've been at AFGRI for so many years, you know everything, you know how it works, it's so easy. Why do you want to venture out into the bigger world once again and start from the start? Because I will be starting with new employees that I've got to learn, new factories, new customers. It will be a total new environment that I'm entering into, new relationships that needs to be built and fostered. Well, I do believe that I don't aspire to stagnate. I always aspire to grow and develop and take something to the next level. The only constant for me in the world is definitely change. And you've got to learn to adapt to change. You've got to keep up with the world trends. And you've got to grow so that all the people around you can grow. You need to be the role model for other people to look up to. I have an amazing support structure, and in this photo on the right-hand side is my husband, Francois, and he always reminds me that there's a reason why the rear view mirror is so small and the windscreen is so large, because you can never fix what happened yesterday, but you can always paint your new picture on your blank canvas for the future or for tomorrow. We're all thankful for every day that we get blessed with, and I think one of the aspects that's always helped me throughout my life and to set my goals and to make sure that I make my dreams a reality is to ensure when I set my goals, I set them higher than what I think we can achieve. You have to have a clear picture of what you think the future is going to look like. And I want to know what the purpose is and the reason is for why I'm sacrificing and doing what I'm doing. I think by focusing on all the aspects that I've discussed with you today, I am proud to say that I've built a great career for myself. I've lived a life that I've enjoyed. I've got a great balance between work and life. And it's very important that we keep on fostering all the great aspects of women. Women does not need to be the same as men. We need to be diverse. We need to be different. We need to bring a different diversity to the table. That's why we are great leaders, and that's why we can bring along change. So in the words of Paulo Coelho, I would want to say, if you're brave enough to say goodbye, life will reward you with a new hello. So on that note, I want to thank everybody, all my employees and staff at AFGRI. You will be missed, and I will see you soon.
Thank you, Anina. I think it is quite emotional after so many years to say goodbye. But you know, that's the theme of today, is that every end is a new beginning, and it's never easy. If ever I talk to my kids about leaving, they think I'm crazy, because they just think AFGRI must be the best place ever to work, because I've never, you know, told them that it's not nice. So I can imagine that it is tough for you. But you have been an inspiration to a lot of women. I remember the day that they announced that you were the MD of Animal Feeds, and I felt so proud, you know, for women in AFGRI, that there was a woman in this position, you know, and you were never afraid to ask questions, you know, make comments, say how you feel, what your view is, and we look up to that, and we thank you for being an example to a lot of us. And just before this meeting, I saw on someone's status, they said, why would you want to raise your girl to be a lady when she can be a warrior? And I think, you know, there's balance in that. And you are a warrior while being a lady. And yeah, we are going to miss you, but we also know that you're going to make a huge difference and add value where you are going and change people's lives, and that we will read of you, and we'll celebrate with you once you are there.
Thank you, Zelda.
Thank you, Krista.
Thank you, Zelda and Anina. Amazing. I really appreciate. And Anina, we will have, there was a Menti open for you where people have just sent a message to you. We will make sure that we get all of that messages through to Anina. So who we have next up is Charmaine Nagel. Charmaine will have a discussion, or Prudence will be in discussion with Charmaine. I think Prudence is well known by most of you that are on this call. Prudence has been with our company for very long. I had to take Prudence to Cape Town for some red wine to really get to know her. So Prue, it's nice having you as a friend, but also as a woman within AFGRI that are really leading in a lot of diligence and humility, going through tough things, knowing that who you are, that's amazing. So Prudence, I'm going to give the floor over to you to have a discussion with somebody that are close and dear to my heart, Charmaine Nagel. Thanks, Prudence.
Thank you so much, Krista. Hi, everybody, and thank you so much for giving us the opportunity. So the next person, being Charmaine, that I really want to introduce is somebody who does not aspire to just